All right, Jim, if we're ready, I'll go ahead and make a motion at 10:33 to bring the meeting to order.
I'll second that motion, Luke.
All right, the first thing on the agenda, as usual, is introductions. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, I will readjust my settings here.
I can hear you, Jim. Introductions. My name is Matt Johnson. I'm with Reynolds Polymer Technology, also the president of the MCSC.
Name's Luke Daniel. I'm the vice president. And yeah, I'm here with Primary Security Consulting, or PSC training. I did just add the minutes from last month's meeting in the chat, so if you need to review those, they're there.
Jim Pringle. Oh, go ahead. Ashley, go ahead.
Sorry, Jim. I knew that happened. I'm Ashley Wallace. I'm with Colorado Parks and Wildlife, and I'm the treasurer. And just for the sake of disclosure, I'm also at home sick with COVID. So good thing this is a virtual meeting.
Yeah. Wow. This is Jim Pringle. I'm the secretary for the Safety Council, also a liaison with the National Weather Service and the Mesa County Local Emergency Planning Committee, LEPC. And Ashley, hopefully you're not feeling too bad from it.
No, I'm doing all right. I had a sinus infection at the same time, so I didn't initially know that I had COVID, but my test did come back positive on Thursday. So I have not been allowed to return to work. So I do not have any of our official records or anything like that. Those are sitting on my desk, and they didn't even allow me to drive in to pick them up. So I don't have any materials for today's meeting, but I feel fine. And yeah, I just can't smell or taste anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah, when they say that you lose all of that sensation, it's serious. I can't smell anything. I cannot taste anything. Everything tastes like water.
Oh.
And I'm Sanatam Khalsa with Colorado 811, and I guess recently elected member at large to the board.
I'm Nicole Heil with the Western Colorado Area Health Education Center.
Heather Condor, Mesa County Road and Bridge.
Hi, this is Carrie with Western Colorado Contractors Association.
Sarah Darico, XL Energy.
Jennifer Vemmer from Hilltop Family Resources.
Sherry Johnson, St. Mary's EMS Outreach and Injury Prevention.
It's a pleasure to have everybody here today. Thank you guys for attending.
Absolutely. So the next thing on the agenda is the review of the April 20th, 2021 Safety Council meeting minutes.
Jim, I went ahead and reviewed them last night, and I'll go ahead and put a motion to approve them.
All right.
I reviewed the meeting minutes, and I would second that motion to approve them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or issues? All right. Motion passes, and we'll move on to the next item, which is the treasurer's report, which we don't have right now. because of what was just explained to us. I don't know if you want to expound on that any, Ashley?
Yeah, I can. I believe it was a few weeks ago, I met up with Luke, and the latest expenses that we've had were just the prizes, the checks for the two $75 classrooms and then the $200 prize as well. So unless Glenn has any expenditures that I need to reimburse him for, I think we're all caught up with those being our latest expenses. And in my attempt to get into our bank account, I blocked my account, so I can't give you an exact number, but I know that we're still sitting very well.
All right. And if you want to just send me something, I can just add it later, after you fully recover from this.
Yeah, it's looking like I'll be allowed back in the office on Sunday. And unfortunately, a few of the folks that I share my office with are also being quarantined at this point. Excuse me. So anyone who's in the office they can't get access to where I keep all of our stuff. So Sunday is looking like my first day back, and I can get you an exact number.
Okay. I don't think it's overly critical. So, I think this will probably be our last meeting until September, but we'll see. We'll talk about that later. So I think, based upon the previous treasurer's reports, our organization is still in pretty good condition financially. So, okay, I do have one item related to the treasurer's report. Glenn Kaiser is leaving California. He's been down there for a few days, I guess, and he's on his way back. But before he left today, he called this morning to let me know that Audrey, his daughter, filed the IRS E-990 form for the Safety Council, and she did that over the weekend and already received confirmation from the IRS that it was received. So I think we're good there. So the next item is a follow-up from the 2021 virtual Mesa County Safety Fair Week. So under the swag bag distributions, Glenn also told me this morning he still has the 21 bags. Apparently has had some issues connecting with the School District 51 online second grade class teacher, and so he still has those. I did not know that until he told me. And then he said there are still, he believes, 7 bags that are sitting over at WCCA, apparently, the last he heard. I don't know, Carrie, you can chime in on this.
Hey, it's Carrie. I did have 7 bags, but considering nobody came in and got them, if I had somebody come in with kids, I gave them to them.
Okay.
I didn't think that'd be an issue.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Okay. All right. Yeah. If we do this again next year like this, with a combination of a online safety fair preceded the week before by the standard in-person safety fair, I guess we can revisit on how to message the people who would be picking up bags based upon their online participation with their children. So very good. So all we have left then is 21 bags that will be going to the online school. Glenn said he'll be getting back into town tonight, and then he will try tomorrow to get in contact with this person before school lets out. So any other comments on bag distributions, how all that went and whatnot? A real shout out to Glenn Kaiser for traveling to DeBeck and Gateway and many schools to hand out the bags. So, and they were well received. The teachers with whom I spoke who had received the bags really appreciated them. And like I mentioned at the last month's meeting, a second grade teacher, I believe it was second grade, but anyway, at Holy Family School, said that with each item that was in the bag, they discussed the safety message related to that item that was in the bag, or the organization's safety message related to the item. Such as, even if it was just a pencil and it had a little statement on it, they would talk about that. And so anyway, the bags are really appreciated once they get to the kids and the teachers have a chance to go through them. So the next item on follow-up from the virtual safety fair this year is the prize distributions, and I believe they've all been distributed. Matt and or Ashley, you can chime in on that one.
I have not delivered anything. I hadn't heard back from Ashley on the checks or the gift card, and it looks like Luke has something to say on that.
Yeah, I met up with Ashley 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, Ashley? And then I delivered all of the checks. There were 4 of them, I believe. The Fraternal Order of Police checks, and then the 2 $75 checks and the larger check to LOM. Delivered those last Monday after I got back in town. So all of the prizes have been distributed as well.
Cool. All right. That would have been Monday the 10th. Well, thank you, Luke, for doing that.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
So anyway, I think the prize distributions went well. Any comments from anybody else on their thoughts about the prizes and the distribution of the prizes, how we did it and everything?
I just want to give a huge shout out to Tim Leon, please. He did a great job with distributing the helmets to the schools and with his security officers. So thanks for that. I appreciate him. I'm sorry he's not here to hear this. He's a great guy, and that was awesome. Made it very easy for me. I just delivered him directly to him. So thank you, Tim, even though you're not here.
And my comment would be just let's do it again.
Agreed.
I second that.
Yeah, we had a relatively easy time when I sent out the email request to various organizations. We had a relatively easy time getting donations, and considering the fact that we were still dealing with, and I guess to some extent we still are, the COVID-19 situation, and it still worked out really well. So Sherry, how many, I'm just curious, you gave Tim Leon all of the bicycle helmets that you had, and then they distributed them. Did they have any leftovers that they gave back to you to?
Yes, there were some leftovers, and he held on to them for the officers to give to kids as they were in the parking lots. I gave them 104. And so they were able to distribute most of those, but I believe that he said 12 to 15 that were left over. And he was just giving them to his officers to hand out to students if they happen to show up with that one to school. So I think that was a great use of those.
Yes. Oh, I guess I should mention this. Yeah, well, I'll get to it in the next item, but it's related to the next item with the swag bags. So. Yeah, and I've got some leftover Smokey Bear handkerchiefs that I've decided to just save, and the rest of the board members with whom I've spoken said, yeah, they seem to be okay with that. So we have a few left over, and so we'll use those next year to hand out as well as prizes. So we have a few leftovers, not much. Oh yeah, there was one other thing on the swag bag items. Glenn was going to return excess items that were donated for the swag bags to the organizations that originally donated them for the swag bags. So, and Sherry, you were one of the persons that he was going to make contact with, and I don't think he's done that yet. He said that he had some items that were yours, but he'll be contacting you hopefully this week to discuss that.
Okay, they can certainly, if we have room to store them, they can stay there. It's not something that we have to take back.
Okay.
Certainly we can keep them until next year and then add to that collection if we have room to store them. If not, I can keep them here.
Yeah, we can store them with some of the other display items we have at the Cray Valley facility just off of River Road, where Glenn Kaiser used to work before he retired. So if necessary, I'm sure we can store them there.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, he'll probably be contacting you anyway.
Okay.
We can just tell him the same thing.
Sounds great.
Anything else follow up from the Safety Fair of 2021, the virtual Safety Fair?
I guess the only thing I would add on is, I guess, just reiterating that we probably should start, if we're going to do a hybrid next year, both in person and virtual, even if it doesn't involve meetings, maybe just corresponding by email, but start the wheels turning on that real early, so it's going to be easier on everybody to have that time to work on it.
I totally agree. All right. So the next item on the agenda is a review and comments on the April 28th Plateau Valley Safety Fair. So I mentioned that at the last meeting, and then Christmas Wharton also provided additional information about participating with that safety fair. And there was pretty good turnout. Heather was there with the Mesa County Road and Bridge, and then Glenn Kaiser and myself were there with the Mesa County Local Emergency Planning Committee. We promoted the shelter in place safety messaging, and we had quite a few students stop at our booth, even though it rained much of the day. It just rained lightly, but still, for those organizations that had handouts that were, sitting on their tables, they did get a little wet. I noticed that from the adjacent tables, organizations from right after it rained, and I saw all their stuff just wet. But fortunately, the LEPC booth that Glenn Kaiser and I were set up and staffed, we were under an overhang because we needed electricity. So we were in really good shape there. There were 16, I counted them, there were 16 organizations that had a booth at the Plateau Valley Safety Fair, which was at the Plateau Valley School in Colburn. And setup time started at 8 o'clock, and the children who came to the safety fair there ranged in age from kindergarten to middle school. And we probably had around 200 children stop at our LEPC booth. So for any organization that would consider participating in future safety fairs at Plateau Valley School, their Plateau Valley Safety Fair, I highly encourage it. The kids seem genuinely interested, and they're brought through to each booth in small groups of about anywhere from 4 to 6 students. And then they have a high school student that's chaperoning each little group. So that worked out really well. the children, because the groups are relatively small, the children are able to focus and are less apt to be distracted when they come to your booth. And they seem generally interested. In past years, we've had some of the classes, the students have come in with a piece of paper and a pencil or pen and have had a series of questions they were supposed to ask at each booth, and then you'd answer it for them to help them to learn your safety message. So I highly encourage anybody that has a presence at the Mesa County Safety Fair that they would consider also having a presence at the Plateau Valley Safety Fair. And in the past, years ago, before they had the Plateau Valley Safety Fair, the students from Plateau Valley School, we did pay for busing, which was quite a bit more expensive than local busing, but we paid for busing to have them come here. But then when they started their own safety fair, they quit coming to ours, which is understandable. Just like the students in School District 51, you only have a limited number of days where you can leave for field trips and that type of thing. One other thing I will mention, we had short notice on this about a week prior to this Plateau Valley Safety Fair. They at Plateau Valley School were notified by their administration or the school board or whoever that they were allowed to have an on-site in-person safety fair, but it had to be outside. And then they had blue tape in front of each of the booths out 6 feet. So the kids were supposed to stand behind that blue line and minimize contact with kids. The presenters did not, because of that, were not required to wear masks. If there were some reason why a presenter would need to be in close contact with the children, say to hand something out or whatever, then you had to wear a mask, but that didn't happen at our LEPC booth. So it went really well. And I can't say enough good things about it. It was very well coordinated, just like our Mesa County Safety Fair. And oh yeah, and it was, it had more of an emphasis on farm and ranch safety, and Glenn Kaiser spoke with the organizer to see if we could get somebody from up there or with the farm and ranch organizations to maybe staff a booth at the Mesa County Safety Fair in upcoming safety fairs here in Grand Junction, so that we can get back to promoting farm and ranch safety to the children. So any questions about the 2021 Plateau Valley Safety Fair?
Hey, Jim, this is Carrie. What kind of notice did they give you about the safety fair date and times?
Well, this year we had 1 week. Usually,
oh, damn. All right.
Well, see, they didn't know that they were going to be allowed to do it. They got notice like on a Thursday evening, and I then received the email from Ruth Shepherdson, who organizes it every year. She's one of the teachers at the school, and so she sent it out the next day, as soon as she knew that they were allowed to do it, and so we just went from there. But next year it should be like it normally is. We usually get like a month and a half or so advance notice, so you can plan ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, that'd be good. Because if I can have some notice, I can, see if I can get a contractor up there with equipment already who lives up there.
Right. No.
All right. Yeah, let me know next year.
Sure. That'd be really good. Yeah. I mean, they could have used more exhibitors. We had fewer exhibitors than, well, last year they didn't have one because of the COVID restrictions.
Right.
Previous years, they usually have like 24 different exhibits, and this year there were 16. So you know, there would have been more. Like, for example, the National Weather Service wasn't allowed to be there. And I assume other federal agencies were also restricted from participating, and perhaps some state organizations that may have participated in the past.
Yeah. Well, definitely let me know next year and we'll see what we can come up with.
That'd be great. I'm sure Ruth would really like to have you up there.
Okay.
All right. The next topic was the Safety Council's awesome new website items. And items related to our awesome new website, that is. So we mentioned at the last meeting, and Luke, since you read the minutes, we need to add KJOL and KAFM radio stations to our list of sponsors for this year's Safety Fair, because they provided all this free advertising for us. We already have KKCO on there, but anyways, we need to include them as well, because they're giving us free airtime and promoting the Safety Fair for us. And if you need some logos, I can probably get them for you. Just let me know.
Yeah, if you can do that, Jim, or I'll pull them offline. It's not that hard to find them. If we can get higher resolution,
offline, do that. If you need something higher resolution than what you can get offline, just let me know. And I have the contacts for both of those radio stations. And I've always been able to get higher resolution logos directly from the organization.
Yeah, if you want to reach out for those, they'll look better on the website.
Yep, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
We had some other items that we brought up regarding the website last meeting, but it was decided to hold off on addressing them until the next board meeting. So we'll just do that. One of them has to do with the collective of safety messaging, blogs and whatnot, URLs of other organizations that have specific safety related messaging from their electronic sources, online sources. So I think we're good on that one for now. Anybody else have any comments on anything we still need to do with the website? You know, as we continue to make something that's really great even better. If not, if you can't think of anything right now, that is, if you think of something later, I'm sure Luke would be more than happy to receive an email from you saying, hey, can we do this? Or, you know, I would like to change this to this. Is that possible? Or whatever it is. You know, Luke is your go-to person for this. And Luke, once again, I very much appreciate all the time and effort you put into the Safety Council's website. It looks
of course,
great.
I really do enjoy it.
Okay, the next item is then the 2022 Mesa County Safety Fair planning. We did quite a bit of discussion on this at last month's meeting. And anyways, I don't know how much more we need to discuss about that, but kind of the big picture here. And this is related to what Snodham mentioned earlier, that we need to start now in whatever we do. But it was pretty unanimous at the last meeting to go along with Matt's suggestion to have standard 2-day safety fair followed by the next week with a virtual safety fair. And that makes a lot of sense. That's more inclusive. You can get those who are unable to attend on site in person. they can still participate, and the students can still learn the safety messaging. It's just not quite as fun. You know, when the kids are there and they get to see things, and you know, they see a tornado in a cylinder spinning around, and they see a little display with a flash flood that occurs, and when they see the Van de Graaff generator shooting sparks of what we call small lightning, and when they get to sit in the hot seat at the basically I call it that, at the Mesa County Road and Bridge. I mean, that's really fun for the kids, you know, putting an egg on something and letting it roll down and crash and watching it break, and then putting a helmet on it or whatever they do and watching the egg, you know, survive. And, you know, those are fun things. So anyway, any comments on anything we discussed at the last meeting regarding the plans for the safety fair? I know we talked about doing the prizes again, just as we did earlier, and also talked about the swag bags and that type of thing. So, you know, if there isn't any, you know, just think about it during the summer. Send an email to the Safety Council's email address, where, you know, we can review those things prior to the next meeting, which I assume will be in September, the regular meeting, monthly meeting.
I'd like to add something to that, Jim.
Yes, Matt.
I think just tying into what Sonatum is saying and what you guys are saying, you know, it would be best if everybody started thinking about what they wanted to do for their video now, maybe not start working on it right away, but let's give everybody plenty of time to get this put together. So we're not saying the videos are due now, but the sooner you could get them in, the less load we're going to put on our IT team to get this all put together. So just keep that in mind. And that's all I got. Thanks, guys.
Great.
Well, and one thing with that is if we do this virtual safety fair the week after, we can take, rather than having the exhibitors make a video, we can take video at the safety fair so that it's the actual exhibit that's being uploaded for the virtual safety fair.
Hey, Luke, how about if we had, you know, the videos, the safety videos we had before, plus that? Does that sound, you know, like a good idea? I don't know. I'm just thinking with the other videos that were already made, a lot of time and effort was put into those. But I do agree. I think it would go even a lot further if we had videos of the actual demos that were given at the in-person safety fair. So I'm thinking doing both. You know, what does everybody else think?
You know, I had a thought that every year probably it's not the same kids that come through. You know, if it's maybe the same teachers, but not the same kids. So is it really necessary, you know, unless there's something, unless you were talking about COVID or, you know, your safety message was really timely, is there a reason that you would need to redo the video?
I would think it's just an opportunity. I thought that the submissions we had were great, especially considering the really narrow time frame that could go. But if somebody said, hey, that's the best we could do in that time frame, but we want to go bigger, great. Somebody just says, look, I don't have the resources to do it. Could you film my booth at the actual live one? And I just think throwing out those choices and let people decide what works for them and their organization and their time constraints and whatever else, just try and work the best we can to help people.
I agree. Be as accommodating as possible.
And during the last meeting, Sonatum, you offered to work with some of the organizations who, with their quizzes, to
Absolutely.
just to, so that all of the quiz responses are just, you know, true, false, or multiple choice answers. So, and then Matt said at the last meeting, you know, the sooner we get going on that, the better too. So just like what was already stated by you of getting started now. I feel really comfortable. We're on the right track for a hybrid 2022 safety fair, Mesa County Safety Fair, in person and virtual. So appreciate everything everybody has done so far for the successful virtual safety fair. And I think we would have a really great turnout if we do this again in 2022. What are your thoughts about inviting neighboring school districts from like Delta and Montrose counties and that? I did it this last time, but I have no way of knowing who may or may not have participated because none of them, to my knowledge, signed in on the form, on that Google form. I'll be more than happy to do it. I have all our contacts. I've got a Excel spreadsheet with their email addresses for the school principals and so forth for all of those elementary schools. So I'll be more than happy to do it again. And of course, we'll invite them. They have the option of coming on their own to in-person safety fair because we're not going to bus anybody from Montrose or Moab. But yeah, but we'll definitely invite them to participate however which way they want to participate.
I think that's a good opportunity to get a little more reach on the message, and it doesn't really cost us anything other than the time to make the invite. So I think that's a great idea.
I concur.
Okay, I'll plan on doing that again. Oh, I did want to mention, I was going to mention earlier regarding the Plateau Valley Safety Fair. Glenn had an extra, I can't remember how many, around 100 swag bags left over, and he had been saving them for one of the schools, but apparently we never found out if that school participated at all. Anybody at that school with the virtual safety fair. So he was waiting on it, but then when he heard about the Plateau Valley Safety Fair, he asked me what I thought about taking them to the Plateau Valley School. And so that's what we did. I thought it was a great idea. I first contacted the organizer at Plateau Valley School for their safety fair, Ruth Shepherdson. And I asked, how many grade school students do you have? And I don't remember the exact number now, but I think it was like 175. So we decided to give them, because of the age appropriateness of the swag bags, just through the 2nd through 5th graders. And I don't think we ran out. I think we had just enough. We might have had 1 or 2 left over. But anyway, it worked out really good. So all the swag bags that were left over that Glenn had, except for those 19 he has set aside for the online School District 51 2nd grade class, have all been handed out then. So that's another idea in next year. If we do have any leftover swag bags, we can probably give them out again at the Plateau Valley Safety Fair, find out how many we have left over, find out how many kids they have per class, and figure out which grade levels to hand them out. Any comments on that?
Sounds good. And if the school he had been waiting on, if we hear from them, we could probably scrape something together. But timeliness wise, at some point, if they're really interested, they ought to get a hold of us.
Yeah. I think we're done for this year, but I mean, everything, he's all, Glenn already, except for St. Mary's Hospital, with Sherry, he's already returned all of the excess items to those other organizations. And I think many of the other organizations don't have anything left. I think they gave us everything they ordered, and I was there the last day filling the bags at Highline State Park, and we filled all 1,200 bags, but with a number of the organizations, we started running out with the last 200 bags. So those last 200 bags had about 75 to 80% of what the other bags had, but it was okay. I mean, there was still quite a bit of stuff, but yeah, and some of the organizations, I think they had it to the very number of 1,200. So, I mean, the last in the box of whatever it was, a pencil or a little booklet or whatever, I mean, we put it in the bag, and that, the last bag, and that was it. So, and once again, I appreciate, and I'm sure Glenn would say the same thing, all of the organizations who donated items for the swag bags. It was really greatly appreciated. And Ashley, once again, please, for all your people that helped out, the volunteers at Highline State Park, please once again tell them, even though Glenn and I did the same, please express our appreciation from the Mesa County Safety Council for all of the work they did to help us fill the bags, because it would have taken much, much longer. And the way it was, it took 3 days to fill out all the bags.
Yeah, I'll certainly pass that along. I know that some of our volunteers really liked having a different task to do, and many of them are here without their families, so they really enjoyed having something to do to kind of benefit the kids in our community.
Thank you. Any more comments about safety fair planning? Once again, if you think of something later, just go ahead and shoot an email to the Mesa County Safety Council email account, and we'll take a look at it, and we'll coordinate with you on your suggestion or comment. Next topic. Oh, does anybody else want to say something? When I see the image change from one person to another on the screen, I'm thinking, oh, somebody's going to say something now. But anyway, the next topic on today's agenda is our next Safety Council monthly general meeting. Any suggestions? Normally we have our last meeting in May and then start up again in September.
If we're going to focus on trying to allow more time for next year's virtual safety fair and in-person safety fair, I'd suggest we do August instead of September.
Okay. I'm fine with that. So if we have it on the typical day, it would be August 16th, which is the third Tuesday of August. But we could have it on August 23rd as well, which would be more to my leaning.
I don't know if we have anybody from the school district here, but it would be cool to be able to get on board with, say, Tim Leon and somebody from the district prior to them having student contact. So I think the 16th would be the date that I would be most comfortable with, without knowing the district's schedule.
The 16th is a Monday, so should we move that to August 17th?
Oh, 17th, sorry.
And then just let's say we preemptively schedule it for then, and then if we get any update from District 51, we could move it back or up depending on what their schedule is.
That works for me.
Sounds good. Okay, August 17th, tentatively. I'll shoot an email to Tim Leon and to Ari Goldberg and get their, find out if they have a preference, if that date works for them, August 17th.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Are there any other topics anybody wants to discuss before we conclude this last meeting of the school year?
Hey, Jim, it's Sherry. I just wanted to throw out there, I'm working on a gun violence prevention grant for the next 3 years for safety in the community. And if anyone is interested, please feel free to contact me and I can get you in contact with it. It is a nationwide program sponsored through Northwell Health. If anyone has a special interest in gun violence prevention.
Sherry, I'd be interested. Do you mind if I shoot you an email or you forward me over an email? That'd be greatly appreciated.
That sounds wonderful, Luke. I've got your address right here and I'll send it to you. It's a very interesting and lively group of physicians and practitioners from across the U.S. and it's been fun so far.
Awesome. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, we're meeting today at noon, so I'm going to send this to you right now. You may not be able to attend today, but if you are, you can hop on today.
Awesome. Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Thank you, Sherry, for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
I think that's a very worthwhile grant program from what I know about it. From what you told me about it, us about it. Nothing heard. So hope everybody has a great summer and send your comments and suggestions about next year's safety fair to the Mesa County Safety Council email account. And if you have any questions about our website, shoot those emails directly to Luke or the Safety Council email account. If you can't find Luke's email address, I'm sure we can get it to you. It's his business address that he uses. And let's see, I don't have it at the top of my head, but it's
Luke at primarysc.com. I threw it in the chat too, so everybody should be able to find it if you just click on the chat button. It should be there.
Great. Thanks, Luke. And then also, if anybody has any, wants to update the quiz for their safety video that they made or appropriated, go ahead and contact Sonatum, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to help you revise it, especially if you have any question answers that are not just true, false, or multiple choice. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn this May meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor? And we adjourn at 11:22 on May 18th. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great summer.